And if they say, oh, well, my mum might move in, but I'm not sure yet, that's a kind of red flag that they may well someday will get more people in. So those sorts of initial questions are really important, I think. I wouldn't be doing block viewings now because I don't think the market's just not busy enough. So with offers, obviously you're aiming to get the asking price. It may be if it's a house, 3 or 4 bed, that you could get more money if it's shares than a family. So that's obviously something to think about being flexible on. If you get an offer from a tenant, then make a conditional offer to them and say this is subject to your satisfactory references. What you would do is give a start date, the amount of rent, the deposit that you expect, and be absolutely clear what furnishings are on offer. What you don't want is the day of the tenants moving in for them to say, oh, I thought you were going to supply a sofa. You need to be absolutely clear what's being supplied so there isn't any confusion in the last minute. The rules on holding deposits are defined by the Tenant Fees Act, so you can take a maximum of 1 week, one per property, and you can only hold it for 14 days. That's maximum 1 week's rent, and you would return it within 7 days. Now, if you decide you want to keep the deposit, obviously you have to give a written reason. What I always say to tenants is, when I'm taking a holding deposit, here is a copy of the tenant's guidance from the Tenant Fees Act, and this explains circumstances in which I might be able to retain the holding deposit. So they've got all of that information there should you ever need to retain it. And the typical reason is if they change their mind.